What's up, everybody? It's me, Johnny G, and welcome back to the channel and part 3 of Arknights come Catastrophes or Wakes of Vultures. This part, we should finish up the main story of the event. We should be able to wrap up the last couple of stages here. We have 6, 7, 8, and story 3, the epilogue. And then that'll be that for this one. We'll do another episode yet after that where we'll tackle the EX stages and see how we can do with those. But I'm excited to get to the finale of the story here with you guys and to see with you Jessica's growth. Again, I loved this story when it first came out and I loved seeing her growth. So it's exciting to be able to play it for you and to re-experience that. And it's the story that got me attached to Jessica's character. Not as the meme, not as the crying sad kitty that's, you know, always scared and throwing money at all her problems. No, this is a way different character by the end of this event. And I'm very, very happy and very anxious to get to that part, to show that off to you guys from my perspective. So I got fuzzies all over my t-shirt and I don't know why, but I'm still ready to get going. Let's jump in. Okay, let's go ahead and jump in and start with CV-6. We're still using Jessica Alter in our team. She's done pretty good so far. All right. Blacksteel's arriving to protect the bank. Did we really need to be here so early? There's nobody outside the bank right now. I have some mint candy if that'll perk you up. Appreciate it, but I don't think that's going to do the trick. Come here, teacher's pet. Give me a good pinch. Ow! Well, let's get to work. Rise and shine, my friends. Hey, I'm talking to you. Oh, sorry about that, Franka. All right, listen up. The bank has a total of 4 exits. Beanie, take your 4 people with you and guard the rear door. Roger. Copperplate, you and Coins will head to the garage door. Roger. Everyone else, come with the 3 of us and stay at the front door. Excuse me, ma'am. I'd like to ask you something. Will you people be out here all day? Yes, we will, but we're simply handling some business and don't intend to interfere with your daily affairs. Handling business? A few days ago, I signed my pioneering agreement right here. That's the last bit of business I'll be handling. Who are you? I should at least fill out their customer service review. Checks the thumbs up. Ew. This bullet. Were you the one who asked Jessica to bring it? Found it in an antique shop in Victoria a few years back. No wonder you searched all over the camp but couldn't find it back then. By the looks of it, seems like one of the officers secretly brought the gun into Victoria. And now that the gun's missing, the bullet is the last artifact he left behind. I warned the fella not to engrave all that flowery nonsense on it. In any case, why didn't you hold on to the bullet yourself? Because you're the one who should have it, not me. What? Your ghost's finally catching up to you? We were friends once, at least. I can't say I'm happy things ended up like this. And do those feelings of guilt and sorrow do you any good? What are you after, Woody? Call your men back and stop driving out the residents. Even if Blacksteel pulls out, the government's just going to hire some other mercenaries. It won't change the outcome. I heard you initially had the option to turn down the commission. Am I wrong? Despite its name, at the end of the day, Blacksteel Worldwide is still based in Colombia. We don't have the right to refuse a job from the government. I see. So even you have to tuck your tail between your legs like a normal person from time to time. Times have changed. As far as the Colombian government is concerned, soldiers like us mean nothing compared to the geniuses and tri-mounts. Tell me, boss man. What does Blacksteel stand to gain in his contract between the bank and the government? This isn't a long-term arrangement, Woody. The government has a job for us, so we follow orders and get paid. Beyond that, I don't particularly care, nor am I allowed to care. I remember back in Laterano, you'd always tell me about all sorts of things, from minor tensions between different groups to massive conflicts between countries, and you'd always put in the context of how much the people would suffer. That was a long time ago. I can hardly remember at this point. But I do, clear as day. You told me this on our way from the library to the student dorms. The strong protect themselves, but the truly great protect others. So why is it that now, after you've seen these people with your own eyes, you can say you don't care because you're not allowed to? We've both gotten old, Woody. There's a limit to how many things you can care about. True enough, but even so, there ain't that many things worth caring about. Everything that's left, that's what's important. Maybe I can't protect everyone on the plate anymore with these rickety old bones, but the people around me, I'd give my life for them. I swear, if any of them get hurt because you got involved, then so help me God, I will return this bullet to you, in one piece. I sincerely hope it doesn't come to that. Captain, more and more people are showing up. Do we need to set up a blockade? We're not at that point yet. We don't know what the crowd's intentions are, and acting rashly will only make it harder to keep things under control. If dialogue is an option, I'd like to negotiate with the organizer first. But from what I can tell, people have been trickling in since morning. I don't think they're organized. Nobody's armed, so I'm not too worried about it coming to violence, but, you know, not worried. After all, the pressure isn't coming from the crowd in front of us, but rather from what's behind us. The three of them turn their heads and look back at the bank's bright and pristine glass doors and windows. The sturdiness of the windows blocks out the darkness from the outside, as well as the cold and melting snow. But no matter how transparent the glass panels are, the warmth and brightness inside will never spill out past the door. Captain, take a look at her. Helena. Most of them have already signed the pioneering agreements, so what are they all doing gathering out there? What are you worried about? Those aren't the toys the Black Steel people are holding, you know. Good grief. And I already turned the TV on to watch the special New Year's interview. I can't imagine what the governor's going to talk about this year. Isn't it the same old song and dance, no matter how they try to spin it? It's usually what it is when it comes to politics. Hello, everyone. First, I'd like to wish everyone a Happy New Year on behalf of everyone on the broadcasting team. During this program, we will be interviewing the governor and asking him a variety of questions on the issues our citizens are most concerned about. I'm glad you could join us today, Governor. Hello there. Just as a routine reminder for our viewers, this program was pre-filmed in September, and the situation may have changed since the time of recording. Please keep this in mind. You only have the scientists perched up in tri-mounts to blame for that, because they still haven't worked out a way to get a messenger all around Columbia in a single day. Helena, it's so cold out here today. Why are you... I appreciate the thought, but I ain't budging an inch. I know that you have your issues with the bank. If you have any demands, I might be able to pass them along for you. No need to be so uptight, Captain Liskarm. Most of us here already signed a pioneering contract, and we will be leaving with the next convoy. As for what we want, there's nothing left. We're sick and tired of these stupid games, and we're not going to do it anymore. Then what's the point of all you coming here? To take a look. At what? Ever since I was little, I was always told that when you say goodbye to something that's been with you for a long time, you take one good, long, last look. So far, I took a good long look at my diner, at the mining plant, at every last place here on this plate. And today, on the first day of the new year, I'm here to take a good long look at the culprit that's making me say goodbye to everything I've ever known. Miss Helena, I'm loath to remind you of this fact, but you voluntarily signed every one of those mortgage agreements yourself. You're right, I sure did. We walked this path together. but you also pushed us down it. Nonsense. Take that other gentleman, for example. I seem to recall his business taking a major setback, and no one else would provide a loan. We were gracious enough to lend him 40,000 certs. Right. At first, it was just 40,000. Not too massive, but not pocket change either. All I wanted was to pay it off as soon as I could. But then you people said I had to properly plan out my investments and liabilities. You said I shouldn't pay everything off in one lump sum along with the interest. You gave me preferential installment rates and told me to use the leftover money to buy your other financial products. Right. What you lent me was 40,000, but what you took from me was my store, my house, my car, and even my whole family. We all believed your propaganda and lies at first. You said you'd make our lives prosperous and help us achieve a better future, but where do us as customers sit at the table of your so-called better future? Right, we were fools blinded by our greed and short-sightedness. We all wanted that little extra something out of our life, so we snapped at the bait. But why did we do that? Why was every last person on this plate so desperate, so eager to bite into that life-threatening hook, like a school of hungry Finns? Is it really our fault? Or has the well been poisoned this whole time? Miss Liskarm, please have these people vacated within 10 minutes. Make it quick. Jessica, find a way to call up Mr. Cliff. Hurry. On it. No good. I can't get through at all. Keep trying. No. Sorry, Captain. I need to tell him what's happening here, face to face. Then hurry. Now then, Helena, Jessica's gone to report the situation to upper management in just a little while. You ever given any thought to your own future? I've always wanted to start a security company of my own. Would you take out a loan for it? Hypothetically, if I had to, because that's my dream. Then you better darn well be careful. That stack of cash only represents the future. It ain't gonna take you there. That's the painful lesson the guys you're protecting taught us firsthand. They're liars and thieves. They tamper with the street signs. They turn around and laugh at us for hurtling down dangerous roads in the dark of the night. I understand. I really do. If I was her, I'd step aside, let Helena walk through, and just clock that bank manager right in the face. Nothing she could do about it anyways. But whatever. Mr. Governor, let's dive straight into the key issues. As we all know, there are still a number of areas in the transitional phase between frontier settlement and fully developed zone. Most of these settlements in the region are pioneer plates with decades of history and their own core industries, but don't yet meet the standard to be considered nomadic cities, correct? It's just as you say. I've heard that the state government is currently grappling the question of how to dispose of these plates. Nomadic plates are an important strategic resource, so I cannot agree with your use of the word dispose. Providing assistance to these transitional areas and their residents has become one of the most important items on our desk. For example, additional investment, tax exemptions, school admission discounts, and low-interest loans. All of these policies are designed to benefit people living in just those situations. Manager. Fetch the authorization agreement, the one sent by the state government that allows us to mobilize private armed forces in case of emergency. But hurry it up. Don't just sit there gawking. Decades ago, when our forefathers came here, the Colombian customs officials talked about their dreams. Later, when development of the plate was booming, you encouraged us to stride forward towards a brighter tomorrow, saying that all of Colombia wanted to hear our enthusiasm. But now that we're destitute, sickly, and worthless, you're slamming the door in our own faces. It's not how this works. We'll holler, we'll shout, and we'll roar. So you'd best prick up your ears and listen. We cry out for a blizzard and a mighty storm comes, pushed out in the wilds with hardly a crumb. Far, far away from the lands where we've grown, searching for new lands, no soil to call home. How about these low-interest loans? Did I catch you on the back foot? How unusual. Normally, you'd be bombarding me with questions. To be honest, I think this is a rather tough question, and hope that you answer it truthfully. Some believe that providing a deferment on the interest is simply using tax money to subsidize the local economy, which is not only a waste of money, but also dampens the enthusiasm of the residents and promotes laziness over self-reliance. Speaking from the state's perspective, we have identified specific places where something similar can be observed, but we must also extend an appeal to our other citizens. Please show patience and wait for our projects in transitional zones to fully come to fruition. I implore you to have faith that our local residents aren't lazy, but simply need time to rediscover how to use their legs to walk again. The day they're strong enough to cast aside their crutches, they will repay our Colombian brothers and sisters back in full, with their hearts full of gratitude for your generosity. Found it! Go and close the windows. Draw the curtains tight and stay away from the doors and windows. What are they doing outside? Singing? The plow trudges on, and the hammer strikes true. With our own two hands, there's nothing we can't do. Ever since the day we were born, a heavy burden we've always worn. Your 10 minutes are up. Seeing how they still refuse to vacate the premises, we'll have to resort to more forceful measures. Sorry, ma'am, but we can't do that. We shouldn't let these sorts of things get between our partnership. If you insist on neglecting your duties, then I can only regretfully inform you that your team is now under my direct command. Who the hell do you think you are? The agreement to reclaim this plate was jointly signed by the local government, the bank, and Blacksteel. There are clauses within it stating that Blacksteel's personnel must obey our commands and mobilize in case of extraordinary circumstances. This is an authorization letter sent at the time of the signing. Please take a look. You do not have the authority to override our actions, ma'am. No, it says right here, in no uncertain terms, I do have that authority. Now, Miss Liskarm, do it. Apologies, but I'll have to kindly refuse. What are you refusing? What you are refusing is not a minor request from a small bank, but a direct order from the government. Don't forget, Blacksteel is only what it is today because of the trust that Columbia has poured into it. But trust is easily broken. Even a tiny breach is enough to tear down everything that's built up. Huh. Do it. Do not make me repeat myself. We're the ones who starve. We're the ones who die. For a null and empty check, we paid the final price. We're not in that future. My, oh my, oh my. Goodbye, my sweet home. A good long goodbye. Now far, far away from the lands where we've grown, still searching for new lands, new soil to call home. Ma'am, it makes no difference how many times you say it. I'm not going to open fire. Let me say this again. I will not open fire, nor will I allow any of my squad members to do so. My job is simply to ensure that nobody breaks into the bank and threatens your precious lives. And as far as I can tell, these people pose no threat to you and merely wish to say goodbye. My sincerest condolences if your fragile heart is wounded by this. Let's go, Liskarm. After all, parting is always such sweet sorrow, isn't that right? Listen up, everyone. Nobody is allowed to move without my direct order. Roger. 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 Now, turn around, ma'am. This is what it truly means to sing. So just sit back and enjoy the show. Good for you, ladies. Here we go. CV-6. The Night of the Hunter. All right.
You people, I don't think I'll even remember your faces after this one. Anyway, let's just get started.
Illusion and intimidation are my tactics too.
Do. Go for it, Narnthuya. Hit him hard. I love how it gets so much quicker when she starts.
With all of you behind me, I won't take a single step back.
Like when they get closer, it just goes so much quicker.
Loco.
That's so cool.
Crash the mission briefing. I know what you want.
Y'all done now. I'll put Shu down here to defend, but this ain't gonna take much.
So you wrapped your brain. Always so focused on the ground.
What? You think you're a better robber?
Awesome permission to fire.
Yeah. Okay. Whoops. Sorry, Pookie. I'm not really in desperate need for you right now. I'm gonna put Shu down here, but I think we're in pretty darn good shape. We'll do this just because she'll cover everybody now. But yeah, we're kind of well set here.
I wasn't supposed to wrench and bone.
We'll put Pookie down here for a little bit extra because I mean we need Pookie.
Bloom fields.
I've got an idea. What do you fear most?
Boom, 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 boom. Bye-bye.
So you wrapped your brain.
Boom indeed, we should know. Boom indeed. Oh, I love how easy these stages are with this team. I got a good squad, baby. Let's go. Again, it doesn't help that I got the OP operators here, but whoo-wee. Interview guest. The vast lands of the frontier still have considerable potential for development, and we earnestly invite everyone whose talents have not yet been put to the best use to join us out there. But for those who remain steadfastly committed to their hometowns, we've also been preparing a plate redevelopment plan. And what is this plan exactly? For certain plates that have not been meeting industrial benchmarks, we've thought up redevelopment plans to give them a brand new image. The high-tech industries attracted by the state government will make use of these valuable plates to expand their cutting-edge businesses. What exciting news! I'm sure all the residents of those plates can't wait to see the bright new future that awaits them. We already have concrete plans for a number of them, including Bayswood, Deadhorse, and Davistown. I keep saying Davidstown, and it's Davistown, D-A-V-I-S, but I keep accidentally putting that extra D in there. Pause. Anyways, I wonder if anyone in the audience is tuning in from any of those plates. I'm sure it'll be the best news they've heard all year. Nope. Sorry. It won't be. Oh, there's the fat cat, so to speak. Bigwig. Mr. Cliff, you wouldn't believe how excited I am to see the splendor of Fort Barron with my own eyes. You're too kind. It's our honor to work with a company like yours. If at all possible, I would like to continue our partnership across other business ventures out in the frontier. I was just thinking the same thing. It's always a pleasure to speak with you, and I hope that never changes. After all, towing is a long process, and we might not be parting ways until the snow melts in the spring. Too soon, if you ask me. A true pity. Sir, please let me in. I have something urgent to report. If you ever need anything, my door is always open. Please open the door, sir. It's an emergency. I'm begging you. Sounds like you have urgent matters to attend to. Give me just a minute. What are you doing here, Jessica? Who gave you permission to come yelling and banging on my door? My apologies, sir, but the contents of Jessica's report are, in fact, urgent. Out with it, then. That man over there. May I use your restroom? Go ahead. Now, what exactly was so important that you had to come running to me? The bank is trying to leverage their deal with the government to make us open fire on a civilian crowd. And did you do it? I can't say what happened after I left, but no. There's no way we'd obey that order. All right, I understand. You can leave now. What are we going to do about the residents? That's none of your business. But can you at least... If you still don't get it, I'll spell it out for you. It's none of your business, and it's none of mine either. Are you serious? Then what is your business? The massive kickback you're getting from the bank? The extrajudicial privileges that the military grants you? Or is it the feelings you get when you trample people beneath your feet? The feeling of being superior to others? Cliff narrows his eyes, scanning the now unfamiliar mercenary before him from head to toe. I'm in my 90s, Jessica. Takes more than that to get me excited. Why then? What do you get from surrounding yourself with these people? How could I not have suspicions? The way I see it, you've thrown away almost all of your humanity, and for what? Humanity. It's a word that means less and less to me as I get older. Blacksteel is a PMC and I'm the boss. What do I need pretty words for? To put it another way, Jessica, if those are the things you value so much, what are you doing here? I remember what your father once told me, that you wanted to resolve conflicts and protect others. That's right. In that case, why not become a police officer? A judge, a peacekeeper. And if all else fails, you could at least become a soldier to protect your family and country, right? But you chose mercenary, a job that uses force for money, a job that's inseparable from death and violence, a job that's devoid of glory or honor. And I know you're not short on cash either. So I ask you again, Jessica, what are you even doing here? If you haven't figured it out yet, then I can always give you my answer, because I have one. Ambition. For the sake of my own ambitions, to prove that I'm no less than my brothers and sisters, to prove that I am not a mediocre stain on my family. That's why I'm here. Not bad. I like seeing that clarity and self-awareness. So don't stand there and criticize the way I conduct my business. Your father's also an excellent businessman, and as his daughter, you do well to learn from him. You need to be more mature, more rational, less emotional. Secretary, escort her out. From now on, never let her in again, no matter what. Decades ago, you sat back and watched your friends get taken captive. Decades later, you're doing the same thing as people are being driven from their homes. If that's what you call a mature, rational, and level-headed choice, then I'd rather stay naive my entire life. I'd rather remain a mediocre fool. Please leave, Miss Brindley. Don't touch me. I can leave on my own. You go, Jessica. What a stark contrast already from who she was. I see you've taken care of your business. That's right. However, I did hear some bad news. Some very, very unfortunate news. Your subordinates gave my people an order to open fire at the entrance of the bank. Without asking, without permission. And why is that a problem? We have authorization for the government, and you provided us that team. When an urgent situation arises that requires force, I don't see why it's necessary to report our every move to you line by line. You can rest assured that our people will show restraint, but during emergencies, our own needs must come first. I don't think you understand what I'm saying. This is very bad news, but not for me, for you. Surely you jest. Nobody can go over my head and command my troops. If you really want us to coexist in harmony going forward, you'd best remember those words. Give him credit for standing up there, but he's still he's still a dick. I don't like him. But anyways. Have you finished sorting that batch of documents? I'm going through them right now. I'll have them ready shortly. I just saw a repossession document. Leon Theremin just recently sold his shares, but this blank contract prepared for him showed up in a pile of documents dating back more than a decade. And it's not just this one document. Many of them have been misplaced, don't have any signatures on them. They weren't misplaced, they were prepared in advance. But 10 years ago, many of these people hadn't even set foot in the bank yet. Sylvia, we have a professional actuarial system. Our concern has never been collecting a bit of interest on the loans. We've always had our eyes on the prize, and that's never changed. Everything here. That isn't what you told me before. True, you aren't part of the inner circle, so it's understandable that you'd be out of the loop. All the more reason to work harder and rise through the ranks. But given the current situation, I think you'd best make full use of the opportunity you have before you. Ugh, scumbag people. And poor Sylvia's wrapped up in it. Woody, where did you go? What happened to your arm? Pushed my luck a little, and they finally put me in my place. Elena, if I were to leave this town, would you come with me? What'd that guy say to you? Nothing. Just proved once and for all that he's still a good-for-nothing bastard. But that good-for-nothing bastard is the reason you left Laterano without a second thought. First set foot in Colombian soil, then joined a war that nearly took everything from you. The ideals he painted back then were so mesmerizing, so tempting. To be a hero, to lead our people to end the war, to build a new paradise beyond Laterano. You know how it is for you young'uns. With their heads in the clouds, always following whoever shows the most confidence when peddling their dreams. I know, Woody, I know. But I ain't even saying you were tricked. I'm just saying you don't have to be ashamed of your past. It don't matter where your journey started, because it brought you here. Those mistakes made you who you are. Sure, you can look back every now and then, but don't you ever regret it. Elena. Care for a dance, Woody? I can teach you. When I was 18, some awkward fella taught me these steps. He was a complete fool through and through, but that didn't stop me from loving the dance. Actually, I already know how to dance. Oh? How come I never knew that? Since when? Since I was little, and of course you didn't know. I never told you. Where'd you learn? On my way back to the dorms. Want to give it a go then? It'd be my pleasure, ma'am. Why didn't you just walk away when you got the order to vacate them? When you're disobeying orders, might as well go all the way. Tch, what a drama queen. Even the squads that showed up later could tell you were staying behind to make sure it didn't get out of hand. So how's your forehead doing? Didn't expect our own people to wear kitty gloves with the crowd, but show no mercy to their co-workers. I'm fine, just a scratch. And at the end of the day, we were the first to disobey orders. I didn't know what to do at that point either, so I just went back to the basics. Make sure that nobody got hurt. Well, you did a damn good job, teacher's pet. By the way, there's something I've been meaning to tell you all day, but never got the chance. Happy New Year. Let me check. Sorry, but it's already past midnight. So what? I suppose it's not important. Maybe it just sucks that I wasn't the one to say it first. Happy New Year. The heavy iron door shuts tightly, and the mechanism springs into place with a sound of a dull collision, sealing off the smell of ink coming from within. An intoxicating smell. With just one whiff, people will start having wondrous delusions. All their desires can be at their fingertips, and all their regrets can be made right. What do you really want? And what do you regret? Sylvia. Made myself bleed. Top of your class again? Golly, how did someone like me give birth to a kid as smart as you? I couldn't be more proud of you, Sylvie. Are you serious, Sylvie? That's the best financial institution in all of Columbia. Goodness gracious, I can't believe my daughter actually made it. I'm so proud of you. I can't really say it enough. Sylvie, are you sure you want to work in a bank back home? You know, I don't want my position to get in the way of what you want, especially with a decision as important as this one. I'm so proud of you, my daughter. Go, Sylvie. You can always find another job. I'll be fine. No matter what you do, your mom will always be proud of you. Even when I'm no longer here. You're my pride and joy, forever and always. Mom, I hope you'll always be proud of me. It is a magical smell that can even twist the threads of time. Within it, a tiny infant picks up a kite that would not take flight for decades, and a sickly old man sees the honeyed candy he longed for when he was 3. Nobody can resist its temptation. Slice them up like a millefeuille. How do you like it? Oh, Pookie. Love it. Love it. CV-7. Whoop. I didn't mean to click auto-deploy. We can't auto-deploy anyways. Let's go. New Year's came and went, but the freezing wind and snow continued to nip at Davistown, leaving not a shred of warmth. Amidst the crowd outside the plate, waiting for their ride, Miles drowsily thinks to himself, how long has it been since he's waited for a bus like this in the cold? So what kind of place are you headed to in the frontier, old man? Somewhere warmer than here, at least. Don't worry about me. They showed me mercy by allowing me to be buried along with my old neighbors. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. What's done is done, kid. Best just to move on and stay out of trouble. Right. I just remembered. The last time I was waiting for a ride like this. It was to head to a nomadic city to attend my little sister's funeral. It was a cold day just like this one. Helena, Woodrow, and Leon. They all stayed with me while I waited for the convoy to show up. I was holding a bouquet stick inside a vase from Helena's diner and wearing an old suit Leon lent me. Freezed my ass off for hours. Weirdly enough, I can even clearly remember how long Woodrow's beard was that day. But everything after I got on the bus is just a blur, like looking through a layer of frosted glass. I think it went to a huge city, but it also seems smaller than Davistown. I think I cried a lot, but it also feels like I didn't cry at all. After that, it's just me hopping on a bus back to town, and my friends helping me get off. I actually do remember what happened after that. I went to Helena's place and started drinking and drinking. Got pretty sloshed, but I somehow still remember everything I said that night. I'm like that. Of the few times, and I haven't gotten drunk very often, but the few times I have had enough to drink that I was inebriated. Number one, I don't go out and do it. I drink in the comfort of my own home. But I don't forget. And I've gotten one time pretty bad to that point where I guess you could say it's blackout drunk, but like I remember everything that happened that night, and I didn't do anything stupid. I was drinking and I was sitting playing video games or something, you know, something stupid like that is usually what I end up doing. I don't get plastered and go get myself into trouble. I remember what happened, and I know not everybody's like that, so is what it is, but it just, whatever. I remember that. I remember the day that one of the other times that I got drunk was when my uncle got married, and it was just a big party, and I remember her having drinks and just enjoying the day and enjoying the evening, and it was to the point where I got home and, well, got home because I was with my parents. We were at his house. I was pretty bad, obviously, by the end of the night, but by the time I got home, number one, I was safe the whole time. I was sitting with my mom. I remember devouring an entire big bag of jalapeno cheddar Cheetos. And yeah, I remember getting home and brand new garbage can in my bedroom that I filled with puke. Brand new garbage can. But I was fine. I remember everything that happened that night perfectly. It is what it is. Again, I don't often get drunk. Very, very rare occasions. I like to drink. I like to have, you know, something on occasion while I'm sitting enjoying playing video games, sitting streaming. Sometimes I'll have a drink. Sometimes while I'm recording, very rarely, but a lot of times, like if I'm sitting watching UFC or something, I'll have a beer or two, or I'll have a glass of whiskey. I'll have something, sitting just enjoying time with my family, with my wife, whatever. We'll enjoy a glass of wine together on occasion, but I very rarely get drunk, and when I do, I've remembered everything that happened every one of those nights. It doesn't bother me. Maybe I'm just strange, but it is what it is. Onward and upward. The convoy to the frontier has arrived. Hop on the bus, people of Davistown. Well, bye-bye to them. Even my precious babysitter's gone. All I got left is Davistown, and I'm gonna follow her to the grave, damn it. You hear me, Leon? I'm gonna dig my grave here, and when the time comes... Don't you act like I've forgotten, Miles. You told me when the time comes, stuff my body into the plant's furnace and see if my ashes can make the people here sneeze. Engineer throws his head back and takes another huge swig. As soon as you finished talking, the town was perfectly fine. But I was the one who got the mother of all sneezes. Back then, nobody laughed. Nobody could laugh at all. But now, it seems so damn funny. What do you think? Don't just sit there all quiet. Drink, Miles, drink! Sorry we're late. Woodrow, Helena, where's Leon? Right before we left, he said he needed some time to figure things out. Said he'd be back later, then popped open another bottle. But we're out of time. No big deal. If anything, maybe it's better this way. Damn weather. Why does it have to be so cold? Well, once you're on that bus, you can kiss this weather goodbye. Woodrow? Ain't nothing wrong with what he said. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing, Jessica. This whole damn time it was the bank's fault, Blacksteel's fault, and sometimes even our own fault. But you never did anything wrong. So stop blaming yourself. We weren't expecting much from you in the first place. Miles realizes his mistake the moment the words leave his lips, but before he has a chance to explain himself, the convoy leader has already grabbed his arm. If you had something to say, you should have said it earlier. Now get on, you're the last one. Jessica, if we wait any longer, I trust you'll take personal responsibility for any rust hammers or catastrophes that show up. Now get a move on. Don't take it the wrong way, Jessica. That's not how he meant it. I know, but he's not wrong either. I've done so much here, but in the end, I never actually accomplished anything. Nothing changed. Who is it? Oh, Woodrow? Or is it Helena? Stop rushing me. I said I'm over it. I'm gonna go see Miles off. What do you want? Ha! What, you're here to chase me out too? Unlike what Leon is used to seeing, Sylvia does not apologize, bow her head, and run off. She stands there for a moment, tightly clutching something to her chest, then stiffly puts one foot forward and walks into the diner. She keeps walking until she reaches the seat closest to the counter, sits down with her back to the door, and stares straight at the empty chair in front of her. Mr. Theremin, are Woodrow and Helena going to come back? Woodrow and Helena? Is that any of your business? They went to see Miles off. Cold wind blowing in from the crack in the door Sylvia left behind whispers as it circles past the mouth of the empty beer bottle. It sends a shiver down Leon's spine. They went to see Miles off and we'll be back in a bit. But nobody wants to see you. Got it? If you do, then scram. Just leave me alone. Sylvia's fingers are tightly clasped together on top of the table. She gulps down a mouthful of water and forces herself to turn and look at Leon's face. It is then that he finally sees what she had been clutching. A ring, silver in color, with a few diamonds inlaid across it. Mr. Theremin, I can't. Who gave you that ring hanging around your neck? The ring? Couldn't have been me or Benny, so that leaves... him? Their eyes meet. Sylvia nods slightly and clutches the ring once again, her eyes burning with an almost crazed determination. The look in her eyes reminds Leon of someone. Carl's eyes. The night before he departed, he disappeared for a few hours, and when he returned, his eyes looked exactly like those of the person now in front of him.
You know, Jessica, our team also has to pull out of Davistown the moment we receive the order. Whatever else happens here, we have to return to the ship. I know that. We're leaving. Miles has already left. Woodrow and Helena said they're leaving too. Leon probably won't stay either. Everyone will be gone. But what have I done for them? Well, if you ask me, you cleaned up the bandits terrorizing the place, helped Leon save his house, and told Cliff that the bank had overstepped its authority, even if you don't want to acknowledge it. But in the end, it was all in vain. I let everyone down. Or maybe even worse, it's just as Miles said, nobody expected anything from me in the first place. It's all because I went and stuck my nose where it didn't belong. Jessica! No, even so, I still... Laura, I need to go out for a walk. Now's not the time for that. We're about to return to the land ship. I'll help you pack your stuff, so just take a nice nap. I'll wake you when it's time to go, okay? I have to do this. Where are you going? I don't know. You sure about this? Mm-hmm. Don't take too long, okay? I'll try my best.
She's gonna make up her mind. A huge decision. Stop drinking already, Leon. Wait, you're sober. As sober as I ever am. Wait, and Sylvia? What's she doing here? She insisted on waiting for you two to get back, so she could have a chat with all of us. Sylvia stands up from her seat, still gripping the ring tightly. Blue veins are visible across her white knuckles.
Helena, Woodrow, Mr. Theremin. I know of some money in the bank.
Of course there's money in the bank. What's the point of telling us that?
I mean, Blacksteel delivered a large sum of cash to serve as reserve funds, and it's all sitting in a vault right now.
Why?
The bank wants to prepare for Davistown's new residents. They're going to clear out the entire plate to welcome the precision technicians, R&D personnel, and managers that form the cornerstones of the new industries. To meet the demand of their deposits and loans, there's a lot more cash in the bank than usual. Maybe enough to let a large enough group of people start a new life on the frontier. So that's the situation.
That's it? What are you getting at, Sylvia?
Someone actually sober wouldn't be asking that, Leon.
But here's my question. If you're saying what I think you are, I need to know. Sylvia, do you expect us to return the money to its rightful owners? Or do you want us to take it by force?
Sylvia nods slightly in an almost unrecognizable manner, then continues fidgeting with the ring on her chest while waiting for the final judgment. The diner is deathly quiet. At least we're all on the same page. Leon, you in or not? Say something.
No, I know this money should have been ours, but I don't want to be criminal scum like those bandits. You really think the bandits were the biggest crooks in Davistown?
So you're with her, Woodrow?
No.
No!
I admire her courage, but this is too much of a long shot. For example, Sylvia, you got a map of the bank?
Yes.
Give it here.
I don't have anything on paper, but I know that it's 100 paces from the bank's entrance to the master control switch. Based on my stride, that'd make it about 200 feet. Before that, there are 3 turns at steps 44, 74, and 93. The landmarks are a potted plant, a floor lamp, and a counter. From the master control switch to the entrance of the vault, you have to pass through the reception room, go through a hidden doorway, and then down a 36-step stairwell. Afterward, there will be a straight path which will take... You actually memorized all that.
Doubtful. Sylvia, how far is it from your seat to the entrance of the diner?
I just walked 18 paces, and after the 6th step, I made a right-angle turn for a total distance of about 36 feet.
She didn't memorize it. She's just been there countless times, as you just heard.
Woodrow, what do you reckon our odds are if you joined us?
And what about with Leon? How are we supposed to get all this cash out to the frontier without leaving any traces? I can take care of that. I don't doubt you could survive out there, but what about the money? Helena lets out a sigh. She nimbly hops over the bar counter, picks up the knife on the table, bends down to pry up the floorboards. Creak, creak. Pop. Cloud of dust, ancient and full of history, rises from her feet. Don't act like you got me all figured out just because you found that box when the water leaked. The man who left me this place, as well as his passbook. Any idea when I met him? Surprise me. When I was 18. At the time, my old man was trying to sell me to his boss's son so he could climb up the ranks. When I heard the news, I ran to the bar and hid there all night, which is where I met him. In the end, we hopped on his burden beast in the dead of the night and rode, until that stifling old place was nothing but a distant memory. Wait, you eloped with him when you were 18, but by the time you got here, we'd broken up. Hadn't seen him for over 2 decades. Lived by my lonesome in the frontier for over 20 years. You think after all that time, I wouldn't have learned how to line my petticoats with goldbacks? Helena flashes a sweet smile, removes the weapon from her shoulder, and places it on the table in front of Sylvia. If you boys ain't in, I'll do it myself. You and Sylvia are going to rob a bank, just the 2 of you. Maybe I'll be caught outside the vault. Maybe I'll get trapped inside and end up a pile of bones buried in cash. Maybe I'll die trying to escape. Either way, as long as I draw breath, I will see this done. That's how I'm approaching this anyhow. Now, I need to know where you 2 stand. Leon takes out a wrench from his tool belt and places it next to Helena's weapon. Your move, Woody. Who's there? Jessica, what are you... Why now of all times? I don't know. You don't know? But I need to do something. I need to make a difference. If what Miles said is still bothering you, you'd best just forget about it. You still got the time, the energy to do so many great things. No need to tie yourself down to Davistown and a bunch of old fogies past their prime. No, Woodrow. Too many times now. I've had the drive, but I've kept falling short for any number of reasons. I didn't have the ability or the time. The situation changed on me, orders or requests. Even now, I'm not sure what it is I can do. I'm stuck watching helplessly as you're all driven away one by one to an uncertain future in the frontier. But if I don't make a difference this time, I feel like I might get used to it, to never making a difference. And if that happens, I can see myself believing to protect my own mental health that I've always been incompetent, that I could never protect anyone. I could see myself thinking there was never any special meaning to picking up a gun, that I just made a wrong turn somewhere in life and was stuck with it. I don't want that to happen. So much so that I die to make sure it doesn't. Sylvia? If you truly see this as your last chance, well, this is also our last chance to take back what's rightfully ours from the bank. Will you help us, Jessica? As soon as Sylvia stands up, Jessica sees the look on her face. Her complexion is frighteningly pale, but her cheeks are unusually sanguine, in a way that only serves to make the former more shocking. Enough. Woodrow, why are you pointing your gun at me? Forget everything you just heard and scram. Why? What's the meaning of this? We have to get to the bank. Sylvia? And take back what belongs to Davistown. Take back. Go, Jessica. Go back to your friends. Woodrow! You came here for a shoulder to cry on, and we offered you a hot drink and a pat on the shoulder. No more, no less. You're still young. Every day of your life is a new beginning. I'm serious. As if her tears had frozen over and evaporated, Jessica's vision suddenly becomes clear. She sees the unusual blush across Sylvia's cheeks. She sees the wrench and the unfamiliar weapon sitting on the table. She sees the dark hole in the muzzle of Woodrow's gun. For the first time in her life, she makes up her mind in a split second. She walks towards Woodrow's pistol, approaches Sylvia, and draws her own gun from her waist before placing it on the table in front of her. I'm in. She made up her own mind. She made her choice. White Heat, CV-7. Let's wipe the floor with this one, and then let's destroy that boss, shall we?
Good. I suppose you've already got a plan. Toxins and traps are my tactics.
Ooh, this ain't good. This ain't good. This ain't good. Well, may not be so bad. We're all right. Let's use Texas real quick, just to help clear out.
No.
I've got an idea. What? You think you're a better robber than me?
With all of you behind me, I won't take a single step back. Trash the mission.
That's what we
briefing.
should have there.
I know what you want. Don't come any closer.
Ah, I put her in the way of that crap.
Your lives are mine to protect.
What do you fear most?
Always so focused on the ground. But have you forgotten to look above?
Sorry, pal.
This will keep me
You're
quiet.
toast. Shoe, let's get you out here, because I need you healing. Jessica's done. That's alright. That's alright. We got this.
Rain clouds for Korea.
I think we're okay. We got Reed covering up top there. We got Shoe down there. I think if anything, I could probably put him there and he'll be alright. They'll double cover these guys, no problem. Yeah, we're alright then.
I hear the soul.
What do you fear most?
Toast. Done. Let's go.
All squads are fully prepared and ready to return to the land ship at a moment's notice. Where's Jessica? Still can't reach her. Her communicator is broken again. Twice in one operation. That's too much of a coincidence. What is that girl up to? Jessica, you're finally back. Sorry. Don't worry about it. Laura's already packed your bags. It's not that. I'm here to say goodbye. Goodbye? Are you applying for temporary leave? I guess. And your reason for doing so? Personal reasons. There's some personal stuff I have to do, no matter what. And how long will you be gone? I don't know. Maybe a week, maybe a year. Did you hit your head? Do you really expect us to grant you temporary leave for up to a year? If that isn't an option, then can I hand in my resignation? You're quitting? Ah, right. You said from the start that you were here to say goodbye, and goodbyes don't need an application. I don't know what brought this on all of a sudden, but I need to remind you, if you leave the team, everything you've worked so hard for in Blacksteel will likely go up in smoke. Whatever it is you need to do, are you willing to trade all of your efforts until now for it?
These are the last explosives left in the mine. Let's go grab them.
Okay.
I'll do the inspection. You go ahead and rest up for now.
Leon,
What is it?
are you sure about this? About blowing up the furnace? I know I shouldn't be saying this, but you were so reluctant when we talked about blowing up the energy tower.
If we don't blow it up, how else are we going to steal the secret passage and hide Helena's whereabouts? Seal the secret passage. As for what I personally think, it ain't important. Don't matter no more. Ain't a single thing left in Davistown that can be fixed up. But if we get that money, there's still hope for us. Someday down the road, out in the frontier, right?
There will be, for sure.
Hope. Hope. Who knew one last glimmer of hope would be so damn expensive? But for this last bit of hope, for this ticket to not to reach the end of the line today, I have to accept that, even if it costs me my life.
I have no idea what you're trying to accomplish, Jessica, but can you guarantee you won't regret it? When using the welding gun, pay attention to the angle between it and the weld. Holding it too high causes spattering and makes it easy to get hurt. For a woman who runs a diner, you sure knew way too many things. I spent more than 2 decades traveling across Grand Old Columbia. I had a lot of choices. When you got dumped, did you ever think about going home? Dumped? Oh, I get it. Leon must have gotten the wrong idea. Nah, I'm the one who dumped him. He ended up being a real by-the-books sort of fella. Didn't suit that gruff face of his one bit. Back then, I was dead set on traveling across Columbia with him, but he thought I was too wild. Still, we supported each other across the Barrens, and I ain't saying it was a bad life. But one night, he suddenly proposed to me. Said he couldn't stand all that wandering no more, wanted to settle down on some plate. Going through the same motions in the same place over and over again? I couldn't imagine a worse punishment. So I turned him down, left all my money and possessions, and told him I'd be a terrible wife. Then I mounted my burden beast and rode off into the sunset. But you still ended up in Davistown. In his letter, he said he'd finally fulfilled his old dream and wanted me to drop by to visit. So I came here, thinking the whole trip was about how to turn him down in a way that'd let him keep his middle-aged dignity. But you know the rest. I was too late. He'd already passed away. And then you inherited his diner and stayed? I didn't inherit it. I recaptured it. It had been ransacked by a gang of thugs. I must have fought off at least 15 of them. Huh? That's how life is. Romantic stories ain't always have romantic reasons. More often than not, the journey is just the punchline. All these years, have you ever had any regrets? Regrets? Like for eloping, for breaking up, for not being able to see him one last time? Or for staying behind at Davistown? Stuff like that. Nope. I feel bad about a lot of things, but I wouldn't say I regret them. I've enjoyed the results of my choices and accepted the costs, all with complete peace of mind. Oh, what a woman. Anyways. I don't know. You made such a huge decision without even thinking it through? That's not what I mean. I've given a lot of thought to your questions, and I've heard other people's answers too. In a sense, I even agree with them. But I can't just regurgitate what they said and let them make my choices for me, because in the end, their answers aren't mine. I don't know if throwing away my past life is too steep a cost. I don't know if I'll regret this later, nor do I know what'll happen to me in the future. But despite all that, I have to do this. I understand. Nevertheless, I have to reject Jessica Brindley's request to be temporarily discharged from the team. I see. Then I'll have to resign. Jessica. Liskarm. Captain. Even the slickest, most experienced veterans who don't give 2 shits about their job wouldn't throw around the word resign as casually as you do. But I also have to imagine that maybe what I'm seeing here is a Jessica who's finally cast aside her fears and self-doubt. A Jessica who's truly found herself. I still object to your decision vehemently, but if you've made up your mind... Oh man, this part makes me emotional because just, again, you see her change and her growth in character and the way that she's decided for once to make up her own mind, and the fact that she's not using other people's answers. She won't let others answer for her. She's come to terms with her own decision. It's hard. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I really am. Give it a break already. And stay safe out there. Jessica. I'm sorry, Laura. To tell you the truth, I had an inkling this would happen when I couldn't contact you. But if you've already made up your mind, can I get one last hug? Think of it as a parting gift. Before Jessica can answer, Laura has already taken a few steps forward and wrapped her arms tightly around her. Just remember this, though. With her back to Liskarm and Franka, she also stuffs a tiny slip of paper into Jessica's pocket. Wait until we're gone to read it. Take care. Stay safe. Anything else we need to do, Captain? No. Then, let's get going. Witro, are you and Leon really going to be safe out there in the woods? After the heist, there will definitely be a bunch of people after you.
You really need to start thinking about your own future instead of fretting over us geezers.
I haven't given it much thought. Maybe I'll have plenty of time to figure it out from a jail cell.
Not planning on staying a mercenary.
I just don't want to spend the rest of my life on a battlefield.
Jessica, whether you decide to keep fighting or put the battlefield behind you, I just hope you won't blame yourself for not finding an answer.
What did you end up choosing?
After the Revolutionary War, I stumbled around blindly for a long, long time, till I finally decided to live a boring life, day by day.
Does that really count as an answer?
Why not? Just 'cause you're the only one who thinks so, doesn't mean it's wrong. You're still young, you've got a long road ahead of you.
Will I find my answer? As she looks at the now abandoned safe house, Jessica feels a soreness coming from her nose. She sniffles and gives it a rub, then opens up the slip of paper from before. Following the instructions of a few numbers scribbled on the note, Jessica turns to an inconspicuous corner of the safe house where she finds a partition made from wooden boards. 5, 6, 7. The back of the 8th board is hollow. The cavity behind the board is filled to the brim with equipment, all brought here by Jessica herself when she set out from Blacksteel's landship. Sitting on top is another note in the same style of scribbles. I take it you have unfinished business in Davistown. This gear should come in handy. Just forget about everything else and do it. I believe in the choice you made, so believe in yourself too. At the bottom of the note is one last line. Goodbye, Jessica. Hopefully we already parted ways on a high note. Sorry, I'm not late, am I? I needed some time to sort through my gear.
It's fine. We still got 5 minutes.
Where'd you get all this stuff? A parting gift from a friend. Then I'll have to give him a right and proper thank you if we ever meet again.
One last rundown. After we go through the door, Elaine and Leon are in charge of clearing any obstacles and grabbing the money. Jessica and I will be on crowd control. Then we catch up afterwards. Once the deed is done, Elena takes the money with her through the secret passage, while the rest of us draw attention away from her. Any questions?
If only there were more explosives. We ought to give that bank a little surprise. Settle down. If the info we got from Sylvia is correct, we'll need to save most of them to breach the last door.
The key to our success is speed. We don't have much time. The mercs on duty will be back in half an hour.
Even if we can get the job done in that time, the explosion will definitely attract Blacksteel's attention. However, most of the mercenaries are back on the landship tonight, and it'll take them time to arrive.
If it comes to that, just leave it to me. I'll buy you the time you need.
Time to go. Here they go. Who the hell are you?
Hands off the alarm.
This is a robbery. As long as y'all cooperate, no one's getting hurt or dying tonight. Away! How is this happening?
Shh. See, you're in the same boat as the other young lady over there. This is your one warning. We won't be so kind next time. Now then, folks, just don't panic and follow our instructions. Those are the conditions of your survival.
Seeing how there are no objections, why don't y'all mosey on over to the main lobby and squat down with your hands on your heads? We all know each other here. No funny business. Now move it. You'll need to pass through a total of 4 doors to get to the vault. The first is the door to the reception area, which needs a key, but any employee can get it. The second is a passcode lock in the reception room. The code changes every day, but there are certain rules. From what I've gathered, today's code should be... Perfect. The reception room key works. Next up is the secret door, behind the tapestry to the right of the entrance. Over here. Looks like Sylvia was right on the money.
794-461. It worked. Well, I'll be damned. The girl's got one good head on her shoulders. What's next? Inside the vault, there are 2 more doors. One's a security fence, the other is a vault door weighing dozens of tons. The security fence can be broken through by force, but because it's connected to the security system, the only safe way through is via a passcode. The code is split into 3 parts, one for President, one for the manager, and another randomly generated by a cipher. The cipher is located in a safe inside the reception room, and you'll have to force that one open. How'd it go? Didn't damage anything inside the safe, did you? Mint condition. Can't believe your skills haven't rusted after not using them in years. What's the matter? That was an invitation for you to start bragging. I mean, ain't nobody else in this town with your skill set. Don't mind me, just worried how Woodrow's doing. And that's number 22. Now you're all tied up. Next up is... I never imagined these would be the circumstances we'd meet again in Miss Brinley. I'd recommend worrying about your responsibilities first. Also, I've heard this bank keeps a series of secret numbers, 2 of which are held by you and this gentleman here. I hope you're both willing to cooperate. Now take a walk with us. If you're not feeling cooperative, well, guess I'll have to shoot you. Pick up the pace. Good evening, you two. Helena, what's the meaning of this? You got nothing to fear, sir. I just wanted to ask you a few simple questions. Will you tell us the passcode, or do we tie you to this door and blast you both to pieces? Your choice. Friendly reminder, it is not a crime to reveal secrets under life-threatening duress. You damn thugs. Bob. Don't even think about it. You bastards don't deserve a single penny. You all deserve to rot out in the frontier. 4. You complacent idiots put all your eggs into the mine, yet still have the gall to whine for the bank after getting wiped out. 3. Nobody gives a damn about your rotten minerals. It's the era of high-tech and automation now. Your only value to Columbia is to be thrown out to the frontier. The sooner the better. 2. You filthy, uneducated hicks. You idiots don't even have a damn clue what numbers mean. Serves you right for getting tricked. 1. 654784. Ha! Never seen anyone spit out a string of numbers that fast. Okay, now that your boss has squealed, it's your turn, ma'am. Give me the passcode or die. Hurry up and tell them already. Do you really want to die here? Mr. Theremin, what would you even do with the money? Do you seriously think that you can get rid of us and start over out there in the frontier? Of course you can't. We're everywhere. We will follow your footsteps and find you no matter where you go. The money you steal will smell as sweet as honey, and soon enough, our local associates will swarm all over you to eat it up. And with the promise of a few extra benefits, they'll even personally deliver your heads to us on a silver platter. What's the goddamn passcode? 368654. Go on, take it. You won't accomplish a thing, my friends. Nothing will change. This tragedy is doomed to happen again and again. Shut up. Shut up. Is it human nature to be greedy? And Mr. Theremin here is a prime example. It is human nature to be greedy, and Mr. Theremin here is a prime example. Had he not been so eager to cling on to things that never belonged to him, you shut your mouth. How far you've fallen to mingle with this sorry lot, Miss Jessica Brindley. Leon Theremin here could have left this place ages ago, taken his children with him to Ironforge City, Nullightburg, or Bunker Hill. What kind of blasting engineer wouldn't be able to earn enough to put food on the table? How else would he have ended up like this, if not for his greed? You. Leon, she's right. The door's open. Leon suddenly turns to look at Helena without saying a word. She is shocked to see the panic in his eyes. It takes her a few moments to understand why. Sorry, I meant she gave us the right passcode. I know, it's fine, I know.
If you manage to open the first 3 doors, congratulations. The last is merely an extra credit question. It appears the most complicated, but the solution is the simplest. Blast it open.
Leon, how are the explosives?
Primed and ready.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Like a precise surgical operation, the steel bars buried deep within the concrete are located with pinpoint accuracy and twisted until they break under the force of the explosion. The fuel ignites under tremendous temperatures, bursting into layers upon layers of flames that gently wrap around the steel. Then, at the moment it lets its guard down, all its defenses are stripped away. The powerful backdraft caused by the explosion tears apart the stack of banknotes floating on the upper level, and the shredded paper is sent spiraling down the underground cavity. For a few moments, the snowfall here is heavier than it is outside. The 4 people present are rendered speechless by this snow that so many people could only dream of seeing.
Breathtaking.
Lord Almighty, I've never seen this much money in my life. But it's also nothing compared to what the bank has bled from us.
No time for idle thoughts, folks. Start filling those bags. We got more than enough to keep us busy. Don't just stand there gawking. What are you thinking about?
Nothing in particular, it's just... This is the first time in my life I've ever wanted money so badly. It feels new and exciting.
I love that line because it's all new to her. She's always had money. She's always had access to her family's funds. She didn't need to want for money. But now, she does. Here we go. Boss fight time, baby. Can we beat him? Can we beat him? Let's do this.
Hold on for 10 more minutes. Blacksteel's convoy will be here soon.
That's not going to take us to the energy tower. I'll stay behind. Y'all go on ahead.
How much time can you buy us?
How much time do you need?
At least half an hour?
Woodrow draws his revolver from its holster and counts the bullets. An hour, maybe? You need time to set the explosives, too.
More than enough. Woodrow.
Goodbye, Woodrow. Hurry. Right, Jessica.
What is it, sir?
Thanks. Thanks for bringing it all the way here.
Woodrow fixes his hat and turns around to walk down the long street. Soon his silhouette has disappeared into the night, leaving only a farewell ringing in the air.
Until we meet again, friends.
Sir, we finished testing the propulsion equipment. The engineering team is double-checking the connection's structural integrity now. Sir?
What's the ETA for our departure?
Everything should be ready by Wednesday.
Good. Very good.
Pardon me, sir, but I have something to report. I'll take my leave then. All right.
What is it?
A team stationed on the plate has requested backup. They say a gang of robbers has blown open the bank's vault door and stolen all the reserve funds inside. There are 4 of them, and they've all been identified. It's Miss Bianchi, Mr. Bianchi, and his friends, as well as...
As well as who?
As well as Miss Brinley.
Huh.
Should we send anyone, considering that you just sent away all the security personnel stationed at the bank the other day?
Let's prioritize preparing to tow the plate. No need to stop the work we have on hand. But send out anyone we have to spare.
One more thing. Considering Miss Brinley's unique status, should we...
Don't hurt her. We have to save face for the Brinleys after all. As for Woody, I don't see us subduing him uninjured. Forget it. Just make sure he stays alive. As for the rest, let the troops do as they see fit.
All right, understood.
Right. Which one's carrying the cash?
Still unclear.
No matter who it is, send Tila and have her keep a close eye.
Have you heard the news? Jessica! We have to do something. The order from above is that aside from Jessica and Woodrow, the teams can deal with everyone else as they see fit. That's all it says. Franka, tell everyone to prepare to deploy. We've got the order to hunt them down too. And you're going to follow it? We can help them, or we can take them in. But either way, it's a race against time. We need to find them before anyone else does. Helena, Leon, this is as far as I can take you. I'm hearing sounds of transports that aren't from the main street. Blacksteel probably sent additional men after us, just as we anticipated.
Are we going through with the plan?
Yeah. I'll stay outside and lure them away.
Godspeed. Leave this last leg of the journey to us.
Phew. Okay, Jessica. Now you can only trust yourself.
Looks like Blacksteel will be dragging the plate off to the city in the next couple of days. They only have a few guys guarding the door, but they have everyone else working on the connection. Perfect. Won't be too hard to deal with then. How are those soldiers doing?
Sleeping like babies.
Might wake up with a sore neck, though. We need to hurry if we want to blow up the power plant and seal off that passage completely. We need to set up the explosives there.
Look at those car lights. The Blacksteel people must be getting close to the mine.
Helena, you should go. I can take care of this by myself.
Leon.
Your job is more important. We still haven't broken through their defenses. Not a single car can get close to the Central Avenue. How many robbers are out there on the street? Just one, a Sancta. Is the backup here yet? Not yet. Let's stop the car here. If everyone's still with us, bring their gear. We'll go around the road and break through from there. Ambush up ahead! Going by the bullet marks, that's Blacksteel's etched ammo. Good news, we found our princess. Give me the amplifier. Ow. Ahem, Miss Brindley, whatever your reasons are for participating in this robbery, we won't make this hard on you as long as you cooperate and turn yourself in. Draw her attention. I'll send out a drone to track her.
Stay back. I'm not surrendering.
The bullet came from that diner over there. Let's get in position. We'll attack as soon as we're ready. Miss Brindley, you may not understand what's going to happen to you after this. You will be sent to prison, be abandoned by your friends and family, and society will look at you with disdain. Can you really bear all that?
Sir, with all due respect, I've worked with everyone at Blacksteel for a long time now. I'm not the naive rich girl I used to be. I know better than anyone what the price of this is. But I still have to do it. There are some things you just do no matter the price.
That guy up ahead. That him? Sure, he looks like a normal old man. But you see those transports flipped upside down? He did that. Like a wandering lost soul, the figure stands still in the middle of the road under the flickering streetlights. Kid, is there something you can't say to my face? He can hear us from this far away? I've lived in far noisier places than this. I only survived this long thanks to my sharp ears. A legendary mercenary like you must have a lot of awe-inspiring stories to tell. A legendary mercenary. Now that's the first time anyone's described me like that. There's a long corridor in Blacksteel where pictures of our founder and his war buddies are hung. I saw one with you and our boss in it. It's inconspicuous, but I noticed it. What a shame. My stories ain't as legendary as you think. All I've been through is war. That doesn't matter. Actually, I've wanted to fight the boss for quite a while too. Still, he's the boss. I can't exactly pull a gun on him. But if you and him are in the same picture, old man, I wonder what that says about your skills. Rotten. You mean so rotten you could throw a dozen of our teams for a loop and single-handedly keep us pinned down on the street? I mean so rotten that everyone I ever wanted to save died a miserable death right in front of me. Everything I ever wanted to protect fell before my eyes. Those who I loved chose to leave me. Those who I despised, I couldn't kill with my own hands. I ain't no legend. I'm just an old failure of a beckbeast. An old beckbeast guarding the only bones that he has left. When he sees the old man's fingertip twitch, the mercenary keenly realizes that something terrible is about to go down. He aims his weapon at the target as fast as he can, but a bullet pierces his shoulder first. Ugh. Damn it, I can't even see what he's doing. So how come I'm starting to think this is getting fun? Stop approaching him, you madman. Careful. Not a step closer, kid. I'm putting everything on the line for this.
So you came in here anyway?
Miss Brindley, bullets can ricochet indoors. I don't want to hurt you.
I don't want to hurt you either. Please take everyone with you and leave.
I'm sorry, but this is the mission handed down to us. Not everyone's a princess like you who can do whatever she pleases.
I'm so sorry about all this.
Girl's voice is coming from behind the booth's seats. It is soft and with a hint of doubt, just like the mercenary's first impression of her, sensitive and cowardly. He carefully inches forward with his handgun drawn and held up next to his face. This. There's no one sitting in the booth, just a sniper rifle on the table. The device on the trigger ensures it can be remotely controlled. A communication device sits beside it. The girl's voice can be heard through its speakers.
I really am sorry.
Target is not in the rear kitchen. Second floor is clear. Not outside either. She's not here. Hurry and withdraw immediately. This is a feint.
If you know what I do whatever I please, why did you expect me to act exactly how you anticipated?
No, don't withdraw yet. Fiery beam of light crashes into the ground outside the window. All units, get down! Before he can finish, there is a loud explosion. A tire crashes through the window, and still smoking and on fire, makes a few loops on the ground before falling to the glass-strewn floor. She blew up the car, didn't she? I think that's what she did.
All blown up, without any transports. It'll take some time for them to make it to the power plant. That's plenty.
Yeah, that's right.
Are there more of them? Looks like I need to hurry.
According to the plan, you'll leave through this secret passage, and I'll set off the power plant. Once this place explodes, no one will find the passage.
Leon.
Do you have a map of the route?
Yeah.
This path is connected to the underground sewer system. The passages there are complicated and twisty. Only one will lead you outside the plate. Jessica hid some transports and supplies near the exit. Avoid military stations on the way to the frontier. There's bound to be plenty of thugs and bandits, too.
Leon, how many times have we been over this already? As for the dangers of the road, Woodrow's talked my ear off about them already. Yes, it's dangerous. We all know that.
I'm just worried. I don't like making promises, you know. But I can promise you this. No matter what happens, I'll do everything to reach my destination, even if I fall. You won't. You won't, Helena, because I'll be right behind you. I'll take down every obstacle that slows you down. That's my promise to you. You just need to keep running straight ahead. Remember, keep going straight. Don't look back.
I will, Leon. Goodbye.
Now go. Hurry. He looks on as the dark, narrow tunnel engulfs Helena's silhouette. Finally, he can't help but turn around to take a look at the plant's generator in the center of the room. There is barely anyone left on the plate, but the fire in the furnace burns as strong as ever. The flames are reflected in his eyes, dancing, stirring, leaping. Yet even that is unable to melt the frigid ice lying in their depths. Now it's just you and me. You're late. The old Sancta's gone. Where did he go? The mine. You're wounded. It's fine. He held back. Ugh. I almost had him, damn it. One suggestion. If you girls run into him, try attacking his left shoulder.
What? I appreciate the advice. Now if you'll excuse us.
Faster. I have to hurry. Leon sets the explosives on the wall and lifts his hands to wipe all the sweat that's gathered on his brow. But the heat immediately causes his skin to sweat even more. Hurry. His lips start chapping. His saliva no longer serves to moisten his throat and mouth. Faster. He sticks another one onto the wall, then another, and another. The light of the intense fire sweeps into the bottom of his eyes, seemingly tearing his soul in two. One half supports his body's movements so that he can keep working, while the other half has left his body entirely and stands firm in front of the furnace, staring into the raging fire. As he attaches another stick of dynamite to the wall, he notices someone walking toward him from the light of the fire. Come with me, Leon. We'll head to the frontier. That's where our new home is. Miles, don't go. Where are you going? Another stick of dynamite is set on the wall. Miles turns towards the furnace, and a small shadow emerges.
I'm planning to leave Davistown. I don't want to stay here anymore. I'm leaving, Dad.
Benny.
Don't leave me. You're the only child I have left. Don't leave me like Carl did.
Another stick of dynamite on the wall. The fire engulfs Benny and twists into a tall young man.
Good news, Dad. There's a mercenary company that thinks I'm pretty good. They say I'm a good fit for the gig. I'll be leaving in a few days. No, don't go. I won't let you. You'll die on the battlefield, Carl.
Another stick of dynamite. The young man turns into a fireball and explodes in all directions.
No, Carl, come back!
The final stick of dynamite is set up on the wall. A woman emerges from the fireball. He no longer remembers what she looked like, but he never once forgot her voice.
Leon. I have to go now. I'm sorry. I can't support you anymore.
Mom, don't apologize. I'm doing well here.
Leon. Sorry for leaving you all alone.
Oh, Mom. I have a family here. Everyone here is my family.
Goodbye, Leon.
Stay here, Mom. Stay here with me.
Leon, how are things on your end?
The explosives are all in place. Once they're set off, the plant will explode in no time. Then after the energy tower comes crashing down, no one will ever find that passage again.
When are you leaving? I've lured the nearby mercenaries away, so I'm on my way there to pick you up.
No, don't come.
Have you already left?
No, it's just... I don't want to go.
But...
Jessica, tell this to Sylvia for me.
No, I won't. If you have something to tell her yourself.
She's a clever girl. And still so young. A nice girl. If she finds a good man in the frontier, she should let herself fall in love again. I want her to be happy. God, why'd I have to treat her like that? If I'd known Carl was going to...
Carl?
No, forget what I said. Tell her I'm glad she still remembers and loves Carl. But he's gone. He's not here anymore. The living deserve a choice. The living shouldn't be bogged down by the dead.
Deserve a choice too. You need to live and leave this place. You'll get to start fresh in the future. Don't do anything stupid, I'm begging you. Think about Woodrow and Helena, they'll be heartbroken. And Benny, he just started school. He's got a bright future ahead of him. Don't you want to see what kind of man he'll become? Don't you want to see your son again? And Miles, he's still waiting for you.
But she wants me to stay.
Oh.
She spreads her arms, spread her heart, showed me that pretty face. And from that moment on, I found my dreams in her embrace. Listen to me, Jessica, I can't leave this place, because that woman left me here on a rainy spring day. It was the perfect day for a seedling to take root and sprout. My roots have grown too deep. No one can pluck me out anymore.
Leon.
It's gonna be a big bang. Cover your ears. Don't be afraid and don't be sad. My life didn't begin the day I was born. It began the day I got here. In the same way, my death won't be on the day my life comes to an end. It'll be the day I leave this place.
Leon, please.
Don't worry, Jessica. I won't die. 'Cause I'll be here forever. I'll live forever in her embrace. A loud explosion rings out high above, and its massive shockwave shoves Jessica to the ground. She tries her hardest to get up and move her legs, to run forward, but she finds herself unable to budge. Her body has never felt so heavy before. She lifts her head up to look into the distance. A thick cloud of smoke is gushing out of a giant fissure in the tower's body. The rubble mercilessly plummets to the ground alongside a shower of sparks, turning the nearby buildings into wreckage beyond recognition. A frigid wind blows toward her from afar, turning everything before her into nothing but a hazy blur, and leaving the corners of her eyes feeling awfully cold. She reaches her fingers up towards the sky, as though she's trying to grasp something in the haze. She blinks, and her vision starts to clear up. She sees a snowflake. It's snowing. Is that the power plant? Hurry, Franka, drive faster!
You hear that? You stupid car, faster!
Did it work? Jessica, what's the situation there?
Leon, respond!
I'm not getting a signal. Damn it. Lena stops in her tracks and considers turning back to look. The underground passage's structure, fragile to begin with, is unable to withstand the explosion on the surface. The fissures on the walls are rapidly spreading as far out as she can see, almost as if underlining the fact that she is walking a path of no return. And so in the end, she doesn't turn around. Instead, she keeps running. She simply throws herself into the hidden tunnel and towards the unknown up ahead. I really have gotten old. Couldn't even dodge a little explosion like that. That's toward the energy tower. Jessica.
Woodrow?
What's the situation at the energy tower? Has Helena entered the underground passage yet? Excuse me. What happened?
Leon said he was staying. He said he didn't want to leave. I didn't see him come out. I waited. Maybe I missed him.
Does Helena know?
I can't reach her.
Are you crying?
Am I? I think I am.
It's all over now. You'll be fine. Let's see. You're from Blacksteel and a Brindley. They won't touch you.
Where are you going, Woodrow? Can I come look for you?
I still got some stuff to take care of. Can't go bringing you with me.
Will I ever see you again?
Maybe, Jessica. Maybe. Woodrow leans on the wall. He feels dazed and dizzy, and the burn wound on his shoulder aches. He takes out the bullet from his pocket. He can barely make it out under the faint moonlight, so all he does is rub its engraving. Forgiveness. Damned right. May this bullet forgive what my heart cannot. CV-8. So long, Stooge. Let's end this. Can we beat Cliff?
Never mind the use of force. Death has its own resting place.
Toxins and traps are my
Putting on to you
tactics.
out here, baby. Let's go. We're getting Wishadel out here as well.
Wow, looks awfully dangerous. You call me out for this?
All right.
War. A word I've not heard in a
Poor little guy. It's your unlucky day.
If you're really incapable of sow the mountains when summer leaves a white dew.
Put her there.
See the
Logos is going
plains
out
when
here.
Equinox paints russet hue. This will keep you quiet.
We'll let Texas have a little fun.
To succeed.
Logos.
I speak.
I wasn't
How far is our
supposed
reach?
to
Right out
ask,
here, okay.
but
Good. All right, Jessica. We're going to put you out.
Into the thick of it. Into the thick of it.
We'll hold off on that for now. All right, Calcit,
arrived
you can
at
go there.
designated position.
Plop.
Roger, Wilco. Requesting permission to fire.
Texas, get in and have a little bit of fun. Ooh, he took her out quick,
If you're
but guess
really-
what?
I plant
That
you
don't
into
matter.
the soil to grow anew.
Listen, go ahead, monster. You won't
So
really
you
do
racked
much,
your
but
brain and came up with a plan of plotting me here.
still,
Bravo.
that's a little temporary thing. Plop.
Find your
Texas.
last words.
We should
Poor
get
little
ready.
guy. It's your unlucky day.
Or your toast now,
For your
pal.
home.
I've got an idea. Enough, you. Only nightmares come with
Oh
me.
my god, you're toast! You are toast! Sorry. Yeah, sorry. No. Happening. You ain't doing shit, buddy. You ain't doing shit. Texas attack.
Keep you quiet.
I hear the appearance. The reverse.
I plant you into the soil. And double.
Bye-bye! Sorry, Cliff. You ain't winning. You're dead.
Relax. Enough, you. Only
Easy
nightmares
win.
come
Let's
with me.
go. Let's go. Oh, yeah. That feels good, especially when I played that the first time on my original account, I had nothing. I tried so many times to beat him, and I whittled him down through the first phase. Eventually, when I got there, I was so proud of myself. I had a strategy down. I got him through the first phase, but he would just, I'd beat everybody else, and he would just walk right through it. It was so frustrating. But I just whooped his ass. Sorry, Cliff, you suck. You're done. Thank you, Wishadel. God, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't plow through these bosses as easily, but still. I'm so happy I can destroy guys like this. Ugh. Anyways. What's the situation?
We've already tracked down Miss Brindley, but the mercenaries are understandably not giving this their best. However, going by how long it's been, she should be almost out of ammunition.
Any news on Tila's end?
Helena and the miner took the money into the energy tower, and neither of them came out.
So they disappeared without a trace, right in front of everyone. There must be another exit. Tell Tila to keep looking.
Yes, sir.
What about Woody? Has he left yet?
Mr. Bianchi hasn't left the plate. It seems he's effectively given up on their initial escape plan. After all, according to Tila's report, he was planning to hide in the mountains with the miner once everything was over.
Where did you go, Woody?
He's heading towards us. Should we send someone to intercept him?
Forget it. Let him come. If he insists on coming, no one can stop him.
Liskarm, there's a burning roadblock up ahead. I can't drive past it. We'll have to walk. Are those Black Steel transports? Was it Woodrow or Jessica? At the very least, that tells us not everyone was inside when the energy tower exploded. Wait, Liskarm, there's news from Command. Warning, all fire teams. The current situation is that after the recent explosion, the target engineer status is unknown and target Helena is missing. God. HQ's orders are to give up on target Woodrow and focus on capturing target Jessica. The target is currently in an abandoned alley on the eastern side of the mine. Liskarm, what do we do? There has to be something we can do. Our team knows the mine better than anyone else. Let's just try to make it to her side ASAP.
Got here much sooner than I expected. Every last building on the way was empty. Wasn't much to do but come find you. Are you blaming me for it? Anyone else more deserving? Sometimes a man bears sin not because of something he's done, but because of something he didn't. Then you should have shot that bullet of yours decades ago. But you chose to flee. Why? Because after a long silence, my God-forsaken empathy finally realized that another Sancta had showed up by my side again. It was you. I was a mess, Woody. Empathizing with me must have felt terrible. What was I supposed to do? It's the nature of all Sancta. We share everything always. And compared to what I read from your brain, what I had to go through at the POW camp might have been a walk in the park. What a cruel fate. You despise me so much, yet not even my pain can bring you joy.
Reporting. Jessica spotted, sharing coordinates. The target is heading outside the mines. She has a heavy energy cannon, a semi-auto assault rifle, and a handgun of unknown make. She's carrying all that by herself? All right. She also has a heavy shield on her back. The kind that can be used as carriage if necessary. Well, that's something. Looks like after all these years, our princess has gotten pretty remarkable. How's she doing? Does she look like she could put up a huge fight? It's easy to spook a cornered thief. They get jumpy if you pull anything. Seems kind of calm. She's just walking straight ahead, not doing anything. In the alley, the girl carries her weapons and advances arduously through the blizzard. The dilapidated walls on the sides of the streets slowly pass her by. That is, until she reaches a fork. She freezes there for a brief moment, then tugs her collar and turns onto the path where she must walk against the wind to proceed.
Tom was frozen in that POW camp, but outside the war kept raging. That's right. After you two were taken prisoner, I took even more men to vaster battlefields. In January, we had to cross the river against heavy cannon fire. In August, we had to defend our position in a scorching hot desert, ceding not even an inch to the enemy. Sometimes we proved victorious. We stepped forward over the bodies of our enemies. Other times, we found ourselves on the back foot and we retreated past the bodies of our friends. And sometimes things got even worse. Sometimes I had to sacrifice some to save others. Just like what you did to me and him. Right. I've done it plenty of times. Not just to you two, but to who knows how many. That's the dilemma war always puts in front of me. Oh, excuse me. It may seem like a choice, but it's not. It's an inviolable rule. But you still made the call. I had no choice. If I didn't, all our efforts would have gone to waste. We would have faced defeat. That's why I chose to accept the rules. It's a sad thing seeing a man you used to admire get reshaped by the rules and logic of war. You even remember what you used to be like before you had any part in the Revolutionary War? Do you remember the man who was always carrying the scriptures as he traveled everywhere, promising to use the gun in his hand to end all conflict and injustice? Of course I do, Woody. I remember what it was like, and I remember what you were like too. You always had a brush with you. Wanted to have one of your paintings decorate a chapel dome one day. Have you so much as touched a brush these past years? No, not since I had to get 4 fingers reattached. Target is turning left. She's walking pretty slow. Nearby members, prepare to take her in.
These coordinates. They're just up ahead. Hurry, Liskarm. Phew, wait.
The two turn into an alley and stop in their tracks. Girl's lonely back suddenly appears before them.
Jessica.
Hearing her name, the girl turns around. When she notices who they are, a hint of joy appears on her face, only to be quickly replaced by a sense of helplessness and panic.
Captain, you two came. Yeah, we got your coordinates, so we rushed over here. I'm sorry, Captain. I'm not sure there's any cleaning up this mess I made.
I approved your application to withdraw from the team, so strictly speaking,
I'm not your captain anymore. Right, I guess that's true. You two must be here to capture me then.
No, we're here as your friends. I got a transmission on our way here, supposedly during the explosion. Leon. Well, I'm not sure if you knew, but regardless, I thought you'd probably want someone at your side.
Yeah, I knew. I was on a call with him right until the moment it blew up. Thanks. Thanks for coming. It's just... Are you okay, Jessica? I'm not okay. I'm awful. Do you want us to come over and give you a hug? No, don't. If you have anything to say, you could say it from there. I can hear you clearly from this distance. Jessica. Stay there and don't move, Franka.
Flustered, Jessica pulls her gun from her waist to stop Franka from advancing.
Are you going to point your gun at me? Sorry, I just... Franka, don't... Just leave me alone. Jessica.
Let me talk to her. Is there anywhere you want to go, Jessica, after this is all over?
Where could I go? Those drones have been following me this whole time. You two shouldn't have come. Once you get back, you'll have to explain all these things you won't be able to answer. I'm scared. I'm terrified.
Don't worry about that. If I can't explain it, then so be it. As long as we're all together, there's nothing to worry about. Don't be afraid.
But I am. I'm so afraid.
What are you afraid of?
That the pristine pool of water could be too warm. Too wonderful.
I'm not sure I follow you there. Suddenly, the headlights of a transport point straight at Jessica, and she is enveloped and imprisoned by a number of giant halos. The girl's eyes are unable to bear such intense light. All she can do is hold her gun with one arm and shield her eyes with the other. After a short while, she seems to have adjusted to the brightness. She puts her arm down and stares into the distance at the convoy of cars driving toward her. How's life treated you all these years? In my decades on the frontier, I kept my distance from crowds and wandered alone, around a lone herd of burden beasts. Why didn't you go back to the holy city? Didn't want to. What about you? Why didn't you go back? I'm a mercenary. Adirano has no place for me. So why didn't you want to go? Ain't nothing so unpleasant it can't be forgotten in Laterano. But most of the POWs died in that camp. Hardly anyone still remembers, but someone's gotta. Yet here you are, living the kind of peaceful life you say you reject. Day after day, year after year. But I ain't never forgot. I still remember them to this day. I've always known there would come a day when you came to settle the score. I just never thought it would take so long. We surrounded the target. Repeat, we surrounded the target. Ah, that noise again. So I have my volume up really high in my headphones, so that makes it bad. But anyways, drop your weapon, Miss Brindley. Weapons. This is the end of the road. Look around you. There's nowhere to run. This charade is over. The snowstorm is only going to get stronger. Damn it, I was supposed to get off work early today and catch up on my beauty sleep.
I do want to apologize to everybody again. But after everything I've said today, it would probably come across as disingenuous.
Don't worry, you'll be fine. Company's making a huge ruckus out of this, but everyone here knows that nothing's going to happen to you. I heard about you not long after I joined the company, Miss Brindley. Everybody warned me not to get on your bad side because your family has more lawyers than we've got mercs here today.
Probably even more than you're thinking.
See? You even realize it yourself. Worst case, you'll maybe get a year or two of jail time. Then you'll be released and get to live the kind of life you want to again. Could you put down the amplifier? It's unnecessary at this distance. What, after I brought it all this way? I'm begging you, shut up. Sure, if you've got a better idea for how to persuade her.
It's fine, Liskarm. You don't need to defend me. I know how everyone sees me. Right, it seems like ever since I was a kid, I never thought about the consequences before I did anything. Because no matter what, my family would take care of the mess. That's probably why I come off as selfish. That's not how it's supposed to go. There's always a price. And when you make a hasty, rash decision, you have to bear the consequences.
Jessica, you said you thought this all through when you asked to leave the team.
No, I'm not talking about tonight. I'm talking about when I arrived at Fort Barron 7 years ago. When I first walked through those huge doors. At first, I only wanted to be a tester at the Equipment and Applied Technology department. I never imagined that one day I'd be standing on a real battlefield pointing my weapon at a real person.
Now, 7 years ago, so we put this into perspective, that means she's supposed to be 23. That was mentioned during the story. I think would be in my second part or somewhere they mentioned about her being 23. Either in part 1 or part 2 of the story they mentioned, so we did narrate that. So if it was 7 years prior to this, she arrived at Blacksteel when she was 16. Just an interesting fun fact. Anyway.
Right. That's where the root of the problem lies. We often pick up our weapons without considering the price that needs to be paid. Take this little handgun, for example. I can hold it up with just 2 hands. I can pull the trigger with just 1 finger. I learned how to use it in less than a month. What's even more scary is that I'd need only a second to take somebody's life with it. But it would take me a lifetime to forget that 1 second. See, that's how foolish I was. Before I picked it up, I never even considered who I would point it at in the future. But I'd already fired my first shot. Not fully thinking this through would be unforgivable.
Have you thought it through then? Because you've been holding your gun up this whole time. Hell, you haven't even lowered it for a second. How arrogant. When did I ever say I came to settle a score with you? You think I brought this bullet here for revenge? Are you telling me you're not stuck in the past? No, you're the one who's stuck. You lived to your 90s as a merc. Can you really adjust to any kind of life outside the battlefield? Woody, the reason I'm still unwilling to leave the battlefield is because war never ends. Columbia's war ended a long time ago. It did, but then Bolivar's war began right on its heels. Victoria's war may have calmed down for the moment, but there's no stopping the fallout it started. War is always here. It merely takes a break every now and then before erupting somewhere else. Then why stay on the battlefield to be continually baptized by the flames of war? Because if I can never end war, I have to settle for the next best thing, to hold its on-off switch in my hands. That's why I started Blacksteel. But can you really control it? I've tried plenty of times, and I paid a dear price, but I did it in the end. Was it worth it? Even if all I can manage is to put it on pause for a few seconds, it's more than enough time for countless people like you to pick up the brushes again. Then why can't you put what you're doing here on pause too? I'm sure a few seconds to breathe would be plenty for folks like me gasping for air. Sure beats getting pathetically run off to the frontier. Because Davistown is no battlefield.
I can't put it down because this is the only thing I have left that still has power. All these years, I've thought of myself as something like a blank white symbol. The wealth, family, and influence it represents mean nothing. They have no use in the face of the problems I want to solve. But with this in my hand, at least I accomplished something. With this in my hand, at least I'm not a completely useless symbol. Nonsense. Captain, Jessica, it's been 5 years. In these 5 years, have you ever once thought about why I picked you as my assistant? This is Blacksteel we're talking about. There are all kinds of amazing people here, but I still chose you, and not because of that gun you're holding, but because of your tears. Tears? But tears of weakness can't protect the people behind me. Tears don't imply weakness. The work we do at BPRS is dirty, tiresome, and dangerous. No one does this kind of work just for money. Only someone who's able to empathize with the pain of others can throw herself into a cause for a group of strangers, or a place she barely knows. Captain, just when I thought I was completely useless, you brought me into your team. That was the first time in my life I ever felt appreciated and still remember that feeling. To repay your trust, I would willingly brave hell and high water. But you shouldn't. You shouldn't walk that path. No one's journey should be to earn someone else's recognition. Do whatever it is that you yourself really want to do. Do what truly makes you happy. You don't need anybody's recognition except your own, deep in your heart. Captain, I really want to cry right now. Then cry. Let your tears flow. No need to hold back. Ugh.
Woody. Woody, your halo is flashing. You're goddamn right it is. I want to kill you. You keep saying that war never ends, that all you can do is control it. But you're wrong. War can be ended, just not by you. War is ended by countless ordinary folks who've been encroached on by it, but like weeds try their hardest to survive. Everywhere that's ever burned down in the flames of war has always been fixed up by untold numbers of normal folks, trying their best to get back the lives they used to live, even in the most dire of circumstances. You should have died on the battlefield. Would have been a much better fate than becoming the war-obsessed madman you are now. At first, I just wanted to return the bullet to you, but now, I really want to kill you. A strong gale lifts up the old man's hat and tosses it into the air, but neither looks up nor moves to grab it. His eyes, not blinking for even a moment, are fixed on the man standing opposite him. All his muscles, from his cheek to his neck, are as tense as can be. And above his head, his halo is flashing rapidly. The man opposite him keeps silent for a time, then gradually takes a deep breath, as though it is only through the sound of the roaring winds that he can understand the old man's words. Well then, do you know who it is you're going to kill? Your nemesis, your friend who betrayed you, or a complete madman? None of the above. It's an arrogant dick who looks down on everything. In his eyes, everything can be weighed on scales, and to achieve his goals, he's capable of sacrificing anything. What about you, then? What kind of man will shoot me with that bullet? An ordinary man. An ordinary man who lost everything except his anger when you looked down on him. Very good. What's so funny? That finger of yours always yearned to hold a brush, but in the end you'll use it to pull the trigger. My hands yearn to hold scriptures, but in the end they'll be drenched in blood. It's just funny how fate makes fools of us all. The wind lifts Cliff's coat, revealing both the firearm in his waist and the hand reaching for it. Through the flurry of snow, he sees Woodrow doing the same. He suddenly remembers how all those years ago in Laterano, on the way back to the dorm, a gust of wind blew Woodrow's hat away and carried it into the sky, and for a very long time it stayed up there. Years have come and gone, and now that hat in the wind has finally landed back on the ground.
You can see my tears, but what about them?
Them? Who? Jessica doesn't give him an answer. She merely looks back at the desolate mine. After the explosion, it looks all the more devastated.
Sir, do you know what that used to look like?
I don't.
Well, I do. I know there was a time when the energy tower burned endlessly to bring warmth to the residents here. I know there was a time when that diner never closed. Everyone would gather around the tables over beer and sing to their heart's content. I know the winters here are long and cold, but their dedication and hard work, every last person who lived here filled this place with light and warmth. Their fierce, brilliant light enveloped every inch of this place to drive out the frigid cold and darkness of the winter nights. They turned their bustling, everyday life into burning red blood and injected it into this plate frozen by the long winter, giving it life and vitality. They were people whose path was uncertain, but insisted on walking it nonetheless. They were people who cruelly tormented by life here. Their necks bent under its weight. Even then, they lived there. They lived here amid the snowstorm. They were people who shared tears, but no one ever noticed. My tears can't stand in for their sadness.
The girl raises her gun, and through its sight, she sees an array of faces. Some look confused, some disapproving, some stunned, some dazed. Some are chuckling, some are lamenting. But their faces are not important. They quickly enter the girl's eyes and exit them just as fast, never stopping in her heart for a moment. Instead, a few other faces appear in her mind. The girl who prayed in the tent. The woman who scampered away in the snowfield. The old man who drew his gun in the dark night. The man who departed in the flames.
But my gun will cry for their sorrow.
She raises her arm up high toward the sky, and fires all her bullets in one go. As the snow thrashes through the air, the empty casings fall to the ground, melting the snowdrifts away with their lingering heat. The gunshots reverberate in the air for a long time before silence returns to her surroundings. The girl's ears catch a faint, feeble sound. It's the sound of her tears smashing into the earth. Ugh. You lose. Sorry, Woody. I chose war. I chose never-ending war. So my life is like a bullet, an explosion that can't be stopped, a siege and a defense with no end in sight. I can't end war, but you can end me. Only when the last soldier fighting it falls can the war finally end. Rupert. Now there's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Thanks, Woody, for still be willing to say that name. Aside from you, there's not a single person who remembers it. Goodbye. Cliff closes his eyes and waits for the bullet to tear his forehead apart. But before that, he hears a ringtone. He pulls out his communicator, takes a look and chuckles, then he puts it back into his pocket. Who was it? The military. Don't worry about it. Go on. Is it Bolivar or Victoria? Nothing you need to worry about, Woodrow. Is it Columbia? Do it! Another war is about to start, isn't it? Where will it affect this time? A forewarning, perhaps. It's not set in stone. Give it to me. Woody, a lot of the things I have on here are just trivial. Every day matters to me, but to you, it'd be a whole new nightmare. Hand it over. If you insist, feast your eyes on them. Who'll take all this over once you're dead? Someone. They shouldn't. There shouldn't be nobody else like you. He throws the communicator to the ground and shoots it full of holes. I can't kill you. This sin is yours to bear. Woodrow sets his gun down on the floor and raises his hands. Behind him, attracted by the sound of gunfire, a crowd of mercenaries surges into the area with frantic footsteps and moves to surround him. In the sky, the last few snowflakes of the night are fluttering down.
Okay, guys. Take me away. I'm ready.
The girl holsters her firearm and lifts her hands above her head.
Put your hands behind your back. And cuffs don't feel as cold as I thought they would. 'Cause I've been keeping them warm this whole time. Thank you.
Can I have a word with you before we go?
I should thank you too, sir. Thanks for listening to all that.
It's fine. Before you, there was another guy who jabbered away just as much, if not more. I'm sure he'd be happy that you remembered what he said.
Oh, you knew him too.
He was a good kid. Hard to forget once you've met him. Goodbye, Jessica. Mercenary taps the girl's shoulder, raising a cloud of dust as the sun rises, and turns around to leave. As Jessica gazes at the floating dust under the sunlight, she suddenly realizes that the night has already passed. Likewise, the snowstorm has subsided at some point.
She spreads her arms, spread her heart, showed me that pretty face, and from that moment on, I found my dreams in her embrace.
Slice them up like a millefeuille. How do you like it?
Now we finish the story. CV-ST-3. War's over, Woody. You're free. You can go back to Laterano, to that small house your parents left you. Plant roses in the front porch. And you can find a chapel nearby and paint them on its ceiling so they can listen to the prayers of every visitor. That way the sounds will drift you into a peaceful night of slumber. I found your gun in the warehouse, but not his. Bring it back with you. What about you? Where are you headed? I'll stay here. In Columbia, but the war's over. Your war may be over, Woody, but mine has only just begun. Excuse me. Woody. Hey, Woody. Ugh. Are you alright? How long have I been out? 3 days. The kids got pretty tense when they saw me injured, so they went a little overboard. You banged your head on the staircase when they shoved you to the ground, and you were out like a light. Where's Jessica and the others? Don't worry, she's fine, and I've sent someone to escort Helena. My guess is she'll reach that casino unscathed in half a month, and she'll launder all the money there before handing it to Sylvia. It's already waiting in the frontier. You aren't going to pursue them? I told you already. I only care about what's in the contract. Higher-ups asked me to tow the plate to the specified location and maintain order on the way. Doesn't say a thing about what happens off the plate, so I don't care either. I may be a cold-blooded monster, but even I don't like feeding on the flesh and blood of others. So what are you gonna do with me? I have a mansion in Southern Columbia. Got a great big greenhouse. Wonderful place. You could change your name, enjoy your golden years there. I'll make all the arrangements. You ever lived there? Never. That's what the real estate agent said. Thanks for the offer, but if there's one thing I know, it's you never trust a real estate agent. If you ain't turning me over to the courts, then I'm leaving. To find your friends? To find my family. Your gun's on my desk. Last convoy to the frontier is in half a month. You could... Go ahead, take the call.
Would you like some tea, sir? Thank you so much for coming all this way.
Thanks, Miss Brimley. Your family paid a lot of money to hire me, so naturally I'm at your beck and call.
Robbing a bank is a serious crime. It's going to be tough to win this, isn't it?
Depends on what outcome you're hoping for. If you don't mind prison, we can get you the shortest possible sentence in the most comfortable environment, and once you're released, your record will be clean. No one will ever remember. We do this all the time. It's nothing difficult, so long as you can afford it.
Okay, what else?
Of course, not a lot of people enjoy the sights of a prison cell. We have an alternate plan for you. You could stay home under house arrest, or even go on vacation at some villa with a great view. Under supervision, of course.
Would that be difficult for you?
Yes, but not especially so. If you don't want to spend a day in prison and would rather go back to normal life right away, like nothing ever happened, that would be quite difficult, but not impossible.
In Colombia, most criminals sent to the frontier instead of prison?
Don't worry, Miss Brimley. With us on the case, things won't nearly get that dire.
No, I'm saying that's what I want.
What?
I should be out there. I broke the law, and that's the price I should pay.
And you expect me to tell that to your father? Personally speaking, that's probably the most difficult thing you could ask me.
No, the most difficult thing would be to try and stop me. Because that's outright impossible.
You're pretty determined.
You're right. I am. More than I've ever been.
Not taking the call? I've never told anyone, but I hate phone calls. Loathe them. I can tell. With that frown, you could hold a piece of paper between your eyebrows. Is it that obvious? Yeah. But yes, every time my phone rings, I have to suppress the urge to draw my gun and shoot the damn thing. I've thought about it so many times, but every time I've managed to swallow it and answer. It's just a phone. Try spending 2 months with it on the battlefield. Changes everything. You're on call from sundown to sunup. When you pick it up and the voice says attack, you have no choice but to obey and send your men charging into enemy lines. Then you fight from sunup to sundown. You bring back everyone you have left, but before you even have time to catch a breather, the phone rings again. The voice says, hold the line. You have to send everyone back to the front lines to keep fighting a never-ending battle. Let's part ways here, Woody. I lost my right to give a eulogy at your funeral years ago, and I hope you'll at least hear out my last request. I'm listening. Don't die in some place I've never even heard of. Fine. I have some parting words for you, too. Yeah? If you can't go back to how things were, you can at least hang up and call back later. Don't let them force you to keep your eye on it. I hope you'll always remember this phone call. He picks up the phone on the desk and punches in a few numbers. Is this the president of the bank? Hello, sir. I was a little busy and couldn't answer your call. Right, we ran into some trouble during the towing. I understand your frustration, but to me, as long as the plate reaches its destination, the mission will be a success. Everything else is a sideshow. No one's going to care. Right, I understand. The money is very important to you. I get that business has been on the rise and the people from Tri-Mounts could help you climb even higher. Now that the money's gone, my guess is they won't just let you off the hook. Of course, I also realize you aren't worried about them. You're more worried about the higher-ups, who are even harder to deal with, could truly decide your fate. Yes, I understand. I understand all that. So what do you say I help you fill in the hole? It's no small sum, but nothing I can't afford. In return, perhaps you could help me with a small favor. I have a few documents that I'd like you to sign for me, under the table, as it were. Someone's knocking on your door. Perfect, sounds like my mercs have arrived with the papers. You're afraid to sign. Think of our partnership. This is a win-win. I'll give you another call in half an hour. Hope you'll have made your decision by then. Talk to you later. And you've got that much influence that you can call the shots over someone like that. Goes to show you. Come in.
Sir, the money is ready. We're just waiting for the bank's decision. But I must say, taking over that platform in Bolivar took a whole lot less work than this one.
Well, that's Bolivar. Bolivar doesn't have cutting-edge scientists, nor any tech companies jostling for control of all the abandoned plates they can get.
Not to mention the favorable prices for plates and ownership transfer procedures they have there.
They wouldn't mind getting on our good side after all. All right, no more complaining about things not going to plan. If peace has a string, then the tighter it's stretched, the more the ones holding the ends will want a knife to cut it with. But as soon as it's cut, you either get rid of the knife immediately or hold on to it forever. We've been stretched too tight for too long by someone much stronger than Bolivar. Who knows how many more Davistowns we'll have to handle. I'd rather get the big guy to loosen his grip, or even show him how much it hurts when the string snaps. But an old platform they wouldn't think twice about. This might be even more useful than we thought.
If we consider only the immediate impact, the security of the surrounding areas could be greatly improved once we've established the training centers in Bolivar and Eastern Columbia.
Of course. If we didn't care about that, then what separates us from the guys who only know how to grease palms? No, what separates us from the big guys? Oh, that's all a problem for the future. It's the bank president again. I suppose it wasn't a difficult decision. Care to listen in?
Why do we have to set sail now of all times? I wanted to see Jessica and Woodrow off. Stop whining and pack your clothes. You left them all over the floor. Tisk tisk. How come you two are so calm about this? Who knows if we'll ever see her again when she's out in the frontier? Mr. Cliff didn't approve her resignation, so even there, she'll still be a member of Blacksteel. What? But she's going out there to serve her sentence. Yes, correct. But with her identity as a Blacksteel employee and the job. The job? Right. No matter where you go, you can never escape this job. Maybe we'll get a mission in the frontier one day and we'll get to see her. Now hurry and pack your clothes. I can't believe you two were keeping this from me. I thought I'd never... Don't blame us. Blame engineering for keeping you so busy that we never got a chance to talk. What's this? Something wrong? Oh no, I just found a note in my pocket. Big whoop. Call me when you find a blank check.
Half a month ago, Laura wore that coat while bidding her friend farewell with a hug. She slipped a note into her friend's pocket, but didn't notice her friend doing the same. Laura turns away from the other two and opens it up. There are a few numbers and a sloppily scribbled message. If you ever need funding, give this number a call.
Another one. Ma'am, you've been in this pub all night. The owner is about to close up. That's all right. I know the owner. Are you waiting for someone? No, I never waited for no one my whole life. Is someone waiting for you then? Yeah. Will they get to meet you? I got a lot of people waiting for me. You'll have to narrow it down. Let's not worry about the distant ones. The closest, waiting for you right now. Yeah, of course they will. Gave him my word. It's hard to find someone who takes promises so seriously these days. Here, let me treat you to a round. You tailed me this long just to buy me a drink. Believe it or not, I made a promise too. I promised the girl you're supposed to meet that she'll get to see you. You can call me Tila. In a swath of scorched earth, I see a spark light up and drift with the wind into the distance, before perishing into the ashes. Or perhaps it lit up the night sky and brought forth the daylight. Aw, I know what scene's coming.
You really plan on coming to the frontier with me?
Mm-hmm.
You know what it is you're throwing away.
I do.
It's a stupid-ass choice.
Maybe in a few years, a few months, or even a few days, I'll come to think the same. But I can only decide with the heart I have now. If I think it's worth a shot, there's no reason for me not to act.
You think you'll find what you're after out there?
Before, I always put all my effort into chasing things I could never reach. When I was a kid, I tried to chase my siblings, who were all taller than me. When I was a teenager and my grandfather died while I was out of the country, I rushed to attend the funeral I could have never made it to in time. And then, after I grew up, I chased disasters and conflicts I could never possibly stop, again and again. I'm always chasing, but I never make it in time. But this is different. This time, I'm not chasing anything. Because I'll be there from the very beginning.
Then let's get going. Hope you're ready for a fresh start. Why the tears, Jessica?
My castle fell down. I spent all afternoon on it, but now there's nothing left.
Jessica, you built your castle on the beach. Of course it'll fall down when the waves come crashing.
I am so dumb. Why didn't I build it somewhere safe?
What kind of nonsense is going through your silly little head? You're my granddaughter. How could you be dumb?
But my siblings are all so much smarter. They know all these things I don't.
They're adults. Of course they have more experience than you. When you grow up, you'll be just like them.
But won't they be even more amazing by then?
Huh. How come you have so many weird questions?
Sorry.
Now, don't be so upset. How about I rebuild your sandcastle with you?
Will you really? But even if we do, it'll still come crashing down because of the waves tomorrow. In the end, there still won't be anything left.
Jessica, if you're so worried about the waves wrecking your castle, how about we pick a beach further from the water and rebuild it there? Even when you lose everything, there's always the future, and we need to believe in it. Don't be afraid to start over.
Yeah, let's start over.
A warm hat is placed on the girl's head. Its brim is so wide, it covers almost her whole face. If you want to cry, cry. You've been through so much. Must be tough to bear.
I'm not.
Ain't nothing to be ashamed of, Jessica. New lives always start in tears. It's the very first step toward breathing. After a long silence, a sob can be heard from under the hat. The old man doesn't look down. Instead, he turns his gaze to the far end of the snowfield. The sky beyond the horizon is dyed red by the dawn clouds, and its bright light reflects off the crystal clear snow. The vermilion hue stings his eyes with a sharp pain, and his tears begin to well up. Ah, what a good one. Another awesome story. Let's collect our stuff and then wrap this up. Whew. All right.
Ciao, Doctor.
Phew. What a story. And again, I'll go back to the beginning of where things started with this one for me. And with that said, basically how do I put it? My initial impression of Jessica was not negative in any way. It wasn't bad. It wasn't that I disliked her character. But you guys see the level of attachment I have to a character like Lapland and Texas and other characters that I've loved and talked about more consistently. Jessica was there. Jessica was a character that I enjoyed, but she wasn't one that I focused on and that I had too much of an attachment to. I didn't grow attached to her at first until this event came along. And the story of this event was something special because you've seen her and you've seen all the memes and you've seen all the things where she's just the scared crying kitty girl that freaks out and shoots her gun at everything and throws money at all her problems. And she's always crying and always afraid of everything, afraid of her own shadow. And we see it in the beginning when she's in the main story, how she interacts with our main cast and crew, and how things happen, like in the arc with Reunion and Frost Nova, when she panics and she's trapped basically inside her own mind because she can't break herself out of the stupor, and it takes Amiya to come in and to ease her thoughts with her arts to relax Jessica and to get her to wake up enough to move. And we know that Jessica's tough. We know that she's brave, that she's strong despite all that. But up until this point, in a way, you never really realize it. You never really see it. And when she arrives to Davistown with Blacksteel, at first she gets lost in the woods, but she doesn't panic. She finds her way. She works towards finding her way. She meets Woodrow. They make their way into town. She meets Helena. She meets Leon, Miles, Benny, everybody else. And she starts forming her own connections, and she starts forging her path from that point on. In all that time that they were there, you come across Leon, you come across his story and what happened with the mines and what happened when he was abandoned as a child, and then taking in his former co-workers' children, adopting them as his own. Carl and Benny. Carl goes off and dies as a member of Blacksteel. Benny decides to leave the house, to go off on his own, to go study. He leaves to make a better opportunity for himself, to shed the past and move on, something his father never could. And when he finally does, well, Leon gives his life for the place that he loves. Helena, who threw everything away to avoid being sold off for power and influence, married to somebody she never wanted to be with. She runs away with someone, and, well, in the end, she didn't get what she was looking for either. She broke up. She ran away. Ended up in Davistown in the end. Trapped there. And not so much trapped, but she took over the diner. She started making a living for herself, doing what she wanted, but struggled in the end as well. Miles, who was the only one left that could take care of the heater, the heat tower, the central heating tower, and well, he was starting to give up and ended up leaving for the frontier. He's off on his own now. Woodrow, who left the life of war behind. He was a POW during the Revolutionary War. He came back, and ultimately he couldn't go back to Laterano. He couldn't find it in him to go back to Laterano. He had problems and things that he couldn't let go, and in the end he found his way to Davistown and kind of became a hunter and did his own thing. And then you've got the people of the town. You got Sylvia, who her mother was the former mayor. And when her mother died, she had nothing left. But while her mother was still alive, she was studying. She got into a good school. And then she ended up working for the bank, the place that everybody hated. And in turn, she accepted the brunt of hate herself because people looked at her as a traitor. Look at how Leon treated her. And then in the end, he realized. And he wished he had the chance to apologize to her, but he didn't. And then you've got the rest of the townspeople suffering and struggling. You've got the corrupt bank and the government that threw away its backbone and gave it all up, gave all the power to something that isn't even a governing body. You have not only that, but then you have the corruption and things with, in a way, with the mercenaries. And with Cliff willing to throw everything away and throw away his humanity to be there and to be ready to put all his focus and all his worry into war, handling war, starting wars, finishing wars, having the power to control wars, but also willingly able to blindly do stupid things like how the bank wanted to order them to fire into the civilians and just cause problems, willing to just throw away humanity to do unspeakable acts. And then you go back to Jessica. Everything circles back to her, who she was there but had nowhere to go, nothing to do, didn't know what she wanted to do or how to forge her own path. But through forming these connections, she started to see and she started to put two and two together. She began to trust herself a little more. And although she didn't know where things would lead and she didn't know what would become of things, she still realized that she had the ability to make her own choices. And she had it all along. She just was never confident enough in herself. And by the end, she finally decided that she was going to do something. She couldn't leave Davistown without doing something, without helping the people that needed it most. So all those people that she formed connections with, she decided to utilize that strength, that connection, that bond. And she decided that she was going to make that effort to help them. She was going to make her choice to give them a better life. She shed everything to shoulder the burden and weight of others for so long and put the weight of the world on her own shoulders. Nobody asked her to. Ran from so much, cried a lot. But in the end, she finally made her own choice and she grew from that scared little kitty cat into someone truly admirable. She grew into her own person. She did what she set out to do to begin with. By the end of this story, she did what she set out to do. She set herself apart from her family. She set herself apart from her siblings, from her father, from the family name. She became something that none of them could ever hope to be. It wasn't influenced by money, by power, by anything like that. Her decision was influenced by one thing and one thing alone. That was her heart, what she wanted to do. And it's like she said, who knows what the future holds? She could regret her decision and find it stupid in a month, in a year, in a day, in a week, whatever. But in the end, she had to trust in herself then and there, now, to make that decision, to make that choice, and to move forward. And to do what she felt was the right thing. And she did. So that's it. That was one hell of a story. One amazing journey for our little crying cat meme. And God, I love the story. And the corruption of the bank and things like that is really kind of something that hits a little personally. And things that, it's one of those things that I despise. And I despise because of how it affects and hurts good people and how it's affected and hurt people like myself. And just the way things like this touch so close to reality. It's not just a story. It's not just a game. It's truth. It happens in real life every single day, whether we like to see it or not. But that's the beauty of this game and why I love it so much. Now that's it for this story, guys. Now again, we will have another episode here where I will dive in and tackle the EX stages for this event, and that'll be that. But for now, we're done with this one. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the narration. And I hope you enjoyed the story along with me. Yeah, I'm a little emotional now after all of that. But it is what it is. That girl really grew on me. And I have a soft spot for Jessica now. So is what it is. But with that, I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time to hang out on my channel, to watch these videos with me, or be part of my community, to watch these videos and enjoy my content. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you all. Please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, if you're new and you want to see more cool Arknights content and other things in the future. And again, we'll have more to come, more cool Arknights content, more stories that we'll get emotional with, and so much more in the future. But for now, that is it for this one, and we will see you guys next time.